What's going on, family? Peace, gods, peace, earths. All is love, all is well. Peace to the Most High. How y'all doing today? Y'all know the mathematics today, yeah? We back in the book. Little Mo Supreme Mathematics. We're gonna keep it brief. Today is January 2nd, so that's the knowledge, the first month of the calendar, the second day. So we gonna build on knowledge with wisdom. Got a few points I want to touch today. Had a beautiful day just getting in. Still doing the 9 to 5 thing. It's really nothing. But I just wanted to talk about what wisdom means to me, what I've seen, what the Bible has to say about wisdom, what the Supreme Lessons has to say about wisdom, and even what the Quran has to say about wisdom. Tap into a little numerology. Wanted to talk about the antithesis of ignorance. It's a little something I was thinking about earlier this morning as I was working. And I was like, the antithesis of ignorance. The word antithesis means the exact opposite. So I was like, well, the antithesis of ignorance would be wisdom, knowledge, and wisdom. So I want to expound on that today. Touch on one of my favorite wise men's of the civil rights movement, Mr. Dr. James Baldwin. Um, James Baldwin was an author, activist, um actor, I believe, a little bit. Well, not necessarily actor, but did a lot of debates and speeches and different things like that. I seen a lot of his speeches and read one of his books, and he's a real inspiration to me, and has been lately. And so I wanted to talk about a few of his quotes that I like and that I've always liked, and we'll touch on them. So I ain't gonna waste too much time. We're gonna get right into it. So wisdom two, the supreme lesson says, "It is wise words spoken by a wise man. Wisdom is the manifestation of the foundation, which is knowledge." So the wise words spoken by a wise man. Wisdom is the manifestation of the foundation, which is knowledge. So, as I was thinking today, working back and forth, I'm writing things down, and I wanted to really expound on wisdom. And wisdom to me is knowledge in action. So, as we begin to learn things and become educated on whatever field that we desire to be educated in, that's just the knowing. Until we begin to actually put it into work and put it into action, we don't become wise, and we really can't say that we have wisdom in any area. So if it's piano, if you're a pianist or a basketball player, or whatever field, if you only watch from the bench, if you will, or sit in the crowd and watch the pianist play and look at the sheet music and really you might learn how to read it and everything like that, and you might learn the plays and understand what's going on, but until you actually get out there and put your hands on the keys or get your hands on the ball, pause, um, you can't say that you're really wise in that area. Um, Numerology states that the number two represents harmony and balance, cooperation, and a strong interpersonal skill. And I thought that was really good when I looked that up earlier on a numerology website. And the out of the harmony, balance, cooperation, I get those because 1 + 1 = 2, and these creates balance, and these things can add on and give it harmony. Cooperation to me is always brings the most harmony. But the best one to me is it says strong interpersonal skills, and those interpersonal skills are the ways you talk to people, the way you communicate, and how easy you are to communicate with. You know what I mean? These are some of the things we want to start practicing on myself, and everyone should. But begin to look at different things. Yeah, practicing better speech with each other. Being practicing a lot more calm, less angry speech. A lot more wise speech. And the only way we can do that is to begin to study different literatures. Be well informed on like I said yesterday, on our environment. In our environment and things that's going on around us, so we can have wholesome conversations on whichever topics, excuse me, we choose to talk about. Biblically, the number 2 indicates union and a symbolic acceptance or agreements or a companionship or a joining of elements. The verses I chose for today, as far as scripturally, because I do want to start looking at all different sides of different practices and faiths to present maybe or show that we have a lot more in common than we do disagree upon, than the things we disagree upon. And that's what I notice when I read, even when I read outside of my faith. And necessarily, I grew up Christian, and most people know that I am, but it's it's nothing that I see between the Quran and the Holy Bible and a bunch of other texts. I got a few books around here. I really see that everyone is kind of pointing towards the same thing and looking to become more wise and to know the one true and living God. So the way we do that is to be able to accumulate the knowledge. You know what I mean? So and the way we do that is by putting it into act. And the way we become wise is by putting that wisdom into action. So for myself, I told myself, hey, I'm going to start doing a lot more lives, get better at the YouTube, and get back to my religious studies, theology, all of the religious studies, because it's something that has always interested me, even since a teenager. Uh, when I used to do, gospel music, and I still do. So, some may not consider it, that, but it's always gospel when you're giving good news. But the antithesis of ignorance would be wisdom. But while it is wisdom, the ignorance, to me, I was thinking this morning and going over things. I was saying that it's the formula for decline. As we get to talk about mathematics and different things like that, I want to be able to keep that new equation at the forefront of our minds and really begin to think about those variables that we spoke about yesterday, and let that compound and figure out, and let's begin to figure out the new equation and the variables to add. So x plus y is going to equal z. Uh, it's a formula. The ignorance is a formula for segregation. It's a formula for miseducation. I had a bunch of notes. I was writing a bunch of notes here of what it's a formula for, but my very last one was that it's a formula that'll render a result that'll put us on the peripheral of the kingdom of God. And what I mean is, the more ignorant we are to each other's cultures, to each other's ways of life, to each other's spiritual systems, religious practices, all of the above, political views, if you will, dietary habits, all of these things creates the division that we see amongst us today, the acts that we see less than an hour in the, a couple hours in the 2025. um, it creates a circumference, a circle that we put ourselves outside of, and through our ignorance we continue to have to look out from outward in, you know what I mean, from outward in. It's always the from the outside that we begin to look at the kingdom of God, never being able to truly access it because of how we, perceive different things in not only in this country but on this planet. And so the answer would be to be wise. And so a wise man, on the other hand, stated in Proverbs 115 or 1:5, I should say, excuse me, it said, will increase in learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsel. And I also cited Proverbs 12:15 and Proverbs 19:20. And I like that. And I'm gonna grab the word real quick and read it from there. But yes, right. It said, a wise man will hear and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto a wise counsel. To understand a proverb and the interpretation, the words of the wise, and the dark saying. So I was liking that, and I was looking at proverb because we have to increase in knowledge, and to increase in our knowledge is to increase in the learning. And once you increase in learning, it says a wise man shall seek wise counsel. And what I'll get from that is that we have to keep our unity as much as possible going forward, and not only do that but learn from each other. We have to share um, some our spiritual, practices to begin to fortify. Iron sharpens iron. Business wise, some of our financial ideas, and begin to help us save and invest properly, and learn how to uh, trade. Even with our trade skills, you know what I mean. Teaching each other different things, and even teaching each other how to profit off of our skills in those ways. Because I know, like I said, I'm a tragic optimistic, if you will. I definitely have hope, and I will say that, for us and for this country. But I think we can definitely start to galvanize a lot of our ideas and begin to do a lot better. As far as the time goes, I was listening to the radio earlier when I was on lunch, and there was a lady on the radio talking about the Quindaro Boulevard and the Quindaro area, and how it used to be, very rich historical area for African Americans in a real affluent area. So we getting those type of ideas back into our head and those type of visions, and really putting that knowledge into action and showing our wisdom and putting our wisdom on display in every way possible, and at its highest level, excellency or exceptionalism, if you will. So like I said, we was gonna touch them all. Those are the verses from the Bible. So, say them again. It was Proverbs 1:5, Psalms 51:6, Proverbs 12:15, and Proverbs 19:20. I can take a look at those, leave a comment, and we can discuss those more. In the Quran, and I'm gonna grab a few different copies. I got a couple different copies of the Quran, but from the Holy Quran, in the it says the word for wisdom is Hakim, and they call Allah al-Hakim, and he also knows wisdom is a gift from al-Hakim himself that allows one to make sound judgment and decisions. In the biblical sense, wisdom is closely tied to spiritual maturity and the ability to distinguish between good and evil. So, throughout the day, I just kind of take notes on my pad here, and this is what I wanted to tell you from the Quran and Al Hakim. My dog, my pup done snuck in here. Sit down, boy. It's the Surah Al-Baqarah 2, chapter 2, the Surah chapter 2, 2:6, and verse 269. He grants wisdom, Hakim, to those who he wills, and whosoever is granted wisdom has been granted much good. Yet none except people of understanding take heed. So even in the Quran it says, and even in the Bible, it says that God, the one true living God, will give you wisdom if he wills. And it's almost, dare I say, obvious that he gives all of us wisdom. It's a gift. You understand what I'm saying? When we learn, we cannot, take all of the things that we learn. We cannot take our minds for granted. We know so much. The brain is the highest form of creation. You understand what I'm saying? The human brain, if you will, truly all brains. But the human brain is the apex of all the brains. And we cannot take for granted what we're capable of. Even, as I sit here doing a live, the capability, to be able to take the notes, to be able to read, to be able to understand, the knowledge that was written even before us, and can be passed down. And now we can learn it ourselves and know it ourselves and become wise and have an understanding of not just religious texts, but all things, whatever you truly desire, the one true living God will give it to you. And you can have it to know and to be wise, and it can be understood. My last point on wisdom before I touch on James Baldwin. I want to say the truly wise make full use of the tenure of life and invest all resources in prosperity that will never cease. So the truly wise man, like I was just saying, is going to make the most of his time. Excuse me. A truly wise man is going to make the most of his time. He's going to make the most of his knowledge. He's going to make the most of his financial situation. He's going to make the most of his tenure in this life. Invest in all of those resources wisely. How do I do it wisely? You learn how. You learn about moving your money properly, saving it properly, stacking it properly. How can I learn that? Well, the Bible teaches a lot. The Quran teaches a lot. Your wise counsel, once you start to seek knowledge, as Proverbs 1:5 said, your wise counsel that you'll begin to attain once you seek knowledge can help you with these things. And shout out my wise counsel from my pops, underdog, my brothers, KC, my brother KB, you know, Godhood University, you know, even my brother Dre Sr., you know what I'm saying? Michael Watson, all of these brothers, my brother Petey, you know, all of these things, Trenton, Dre, these things culminate to this point, you know. So a truly wise man makes full use of the tenure of this life and invests all resources into prosperity that will never cease. So we know it's in the zeitgeist, if you will. Everybody is looking to have that generational wealth. You know, everybody is looking to begin to build for themselves and have something of our own. At least people in my circle are. You know what I mean? And I would hope the same for yours. But we must begin to invest our resources into prosperities that will never cease, not on this planet, and not in any lifetimes to come. So those are my points that, you know, I just wanted to touch on wisdom. I know a lot of people are I know you guys are critical thinkers. You'll be able to take these points and, you know, and think on them. I just wanted to hit a little mathematics today with wisdom. And before I get all the way out of here, I want to tell you guys a couple quotes from my guy James Baldwin, and one of his, or one of here are three of my favorite quotes, or two of my favorite quotes. Two of my favorite quotes from James Baldwin, and one from Charles Barkley, if you can believe it or not. So the Charles Barkley ones is good. I seen him scrolling on the reel. It was great. But we'll start with James Baldwin, activist, and like I said, author, writer. Love James Baldwin. He's great. Um, if you want to see a good documentary on James Baldwin, there's a documentary on Amazon Prime narrated by Samuel Jackson called "I Am Not Your Negro." It's great, and I'd recommend looking up some of his debates on YouTube, some of his conversations that he had with a lot of the you know, early activists, Maya Angelou, um, some so many Maya Angelou is the latest one on my mind because I kind of watched that the other day, but it's a bunch of them out there. But the first quote is, "Apathy and ignorance is the price we pay for segregation." And I love that quote because the so-so attitudes and like I said, the formula that we've been working with pretty much, I mean, since I've, you know, been alive. I won't, you know, continue to use that as an excuse for any, woes or any decisions that I've made for myself, and I pray that none of us do. So, but the apathy and the ignorance was the price, and is still the price we pay for certain, segregations, though not maybe physical, still now, and in certain ways, it still is. We could definitely, look at some things, and the information's out there. We see it, but it is the price we pay. So the only way, I guess, for like a better terms, if we get our money back, if you will, from this situation, the only way we recoup is by learning and, practicing new ideas and doing new things, and um, looking at a better future. It's going to be definitely turmoil. We see that now. It always is, but I feel like the scales have been unevenly balanced with certain aliyah, with just a little more evil, if you will. Let's keep it real frank with you, but those will be the things that help us gain the wisdom, if you will, and be able to put that into action for a new understanding. My second quote that I like from James Baldwin was, "Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced." And that's pretty cut and dry. If I had to say it again, I'll read it one more time. Nothing, not every, or one more time. Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. And those are a couple of my favorite quotes from James Baldwin. And last quote here, little wise words from the Chuck, Charles Barkley. He said, "Are you the bus driver or the passenger? Are you the tractor or the trailer?" So shout out to Charles Barkley for that words of wisdom. Shout out James Baldwin for his many words of wisdom and his activism in the 60s. May you rest in peace. Um, these was the mathematics for the day, my people. One love.